Hey everybody, it's Ryan here with Chosen Society. I want to welcome you guys back to the channel. If this is your first time being here, I want to bless you guys and thank you guys for showing up here. I'm going to be on here pretty quickly. I'm going to be piggybacking off a video I just watched. Apostle Joshua Giles, awesome man of God. He released a word here where it's titled Prophetic Provision is hitting your house. And it's coming to your house. And one thing I want to share on here is the Lord has been echoing this at least for like the last 8 months. I have an entire playlist on some of the things that Apostle touched on in his video. I'm going to link that under this video, an entire playlist on videos about instructions and specific things that the Lord has been sharing with me about the wealth transfer. Now, one thing or a couple things that stood out in Apostle Joshua Giles' video that I want to, I guess, expound on a little bit, or I guess share my insights. And I would love to hear you guys' feedback on what the Lord has been saying to you in this regard as well. I know we have a lot of highly prophetic people here in our community, so I want to respect your time. I know the Lord has been saying things to you as well. But one of the things that I thought was amazing and just really like pushed me to record this video was one of the things that Apostle Joshua Giles, he highlighted in his video. It's coming from 1 Kings 17, I believe it's verse number 3, where the Lord gave specific instructions to Elijah to follow, and part of the instructions he gave to Elijah was about the specific direction to go. And in this specific direction, he told him to go eastward. And the word that's used there, if you look it up, it's the word Kadam. And basically what that word means, it has several different meanings. Obviously, one of them is to go east, but it also deals with something of the past. One specific definition for this word is also to confront. I believe that the Lord is having us to confront some things in our lives in order for us to see provision and to truly have the prophetic advantage. There are systems of this world that the Lord is sending us out into, and some of you guys may have already been in those systems and sectors of the world before you gave your life to Christ, and for some reason the Lord direct you out of that place because it was an unclean place. It was a place that wasn't the best for believers. So I believe some of you guys, the Lord is going to be calling you back to those spaces and places so that you can be a light that shines in those places that the Spirit of God can actually move and operate in. Also, one thing that I know that I've got as a question on this channel about wealth transfer, I believe God is specifically going to be giving us individualized instruction. And as Apostle Joshua Giles said, based on our obedience to those instructions, is going to determine the magnitude and the level in which God releases provision in our lives. So if you want to see a big harvest, you want to see lots of provision, then we have to be extremely obedient in that. And one thing about these instructions that the Lord has given us to bless us in our finances, sometimes what God is asking us to do specifically is not going to seem like it's connected to anything. It's going to seem like weird instructions, or why would God be concerned about this particular thing? I'll give you guys an example. So one thing that God has given me to do specifically is to run a mile, 6 days a week. And some of us would probably be like scratching our heads like, God, what does this have to do with anything as it pertains to our finances. But again, obviously we don't always understand what God is doing, but we can see in the grand scheme of things that God is doing or telling us to do something. It's for a purpose. Who knows? God may know that there may be some type of issue in my health, or God needs me to be in a better physical condition so that I can leave. Who knows why God is telling me to do this? But as I continue to remain obedient to it, God continues to open the doors, and he continues to provide resources, and he continues to provide people in the right time. So I want you guys to be diligent in what God is telling you to do. Another thing that Apostle touched on, and I've touched on it in my videos here as well, one thing God is doing right now, specifically right now, is he's examining our hearts. He wants to know, is our heart in the right place? Are we only motivated to do what God is telling us to do because we're going to get a financial reward? Or is it simply because we just love God? What if God never does anything for us ever again? Would we be content with just obeying God to obey God? And when we get to that posture of we're going to just do what God tells us to do regardless of the outcome, that's where God can start to trust us. God can start to pour out resources that we don't even have room enough to receive. And another thing, I guess one of the last things that I'll touch on specifically is God has really been trying to get me to see, and I've been sharing this here on this channel, is that God is getting ready to pour out uncommon amounts of favor, blessing, and circumstances that you couldn't have put together on your own. In my life, and I've shared this on this channel, I'll link to that video as well, is that there have been situations and times in my life where I even met a billionaire, and in one night this billionaire gave me over $15,000. He placed it in my hand. So God is doing whatever he wants to do. God can use whoever he wants to do. As Apostle Joshua Giles touched on, some of the resources that are going to come in to your house are resources that the wicked have been storing up, and you're going to be a vehicle that the Lord is going to use to allow that money to pass through, so that he can get finances into to his people's hands. And so we have to come to a place of understanding that anything that God blesses us with, we are just the managers of, we are the stewards of, we're not the actual owners of it. So we don't have attachments to the things that God blesses us with. We don't have attachment to the money. We don't have attachment to the fame. We just have attachment to God and God alone. And if he blesses us, he blesses us. If he doesn't bless us, we're already blessed. No amount of money can change the fact that you are already blessed. If you woke up this morning and you saw God's beautiful creation, as we can see here, the leaves are green, the sky is perfectly blue, the clouds are pristine white. God has blessed us more than we could ever imagine already in our lives. And as we begin to be grateful for those little things, God is going to continue to bless us with much. So after this video, what's going to happen right now, for those of you guys who want to learn more about wealth transfer, I'm going to be linking to a playlist. It's going to have every video, every word that the Lord has allowed me to release so far about the wealth transfer. That's going to come up in a playlist right here, so you guys can check that out if you guys want to hear other things that the Lord has impressed upon my heart about wealth transfer. But it was an incredible word that Joshua Giles left here, and I just wanted to offer some more support to the community as well. If you guys want to get more things and more information on what God has been speaking about wealth transfer. So with that being said, I'll bless you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.